Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Speaking of frauds.
Let's do this. What do you think out of all of the issues that we've seen in 2 games that I think both of us think can be worked out? What is the Sixers' biggest issue right now? If you had to pick one thing.
Tobias Harris.
No, that can't be the biggest issue.
It's not his fault. It's just I'm telling you, like I hope
Doc
there's
Rivers,
like a stretch.
Joel Embiid out of shape, something.
Yeah. Joel Embiid out of shape. Joel Embiid out of shape, number 1. But I hope there's like a stretch in the regular season where Tobias Harris, he takes a couple of games off. I'm telling you, bro.
I hope there's a couple games where Doc Rivers takes off because remember the Dan Burke games last year? Our team looked great. I think 4 Dan Burke games last year when Doc had COVID. I'm not praying that he gets COVID, but maybe he'll sprain an ankle or something. Maybe he'll stub his big toe and take a week off or something like that. I don't know.
No, I would say number 1 is Joel Embiid out of shape for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that's that. I guess that has to be the obvious answer. It has to be Joel Embiid out of shape. So they tell us today that Joel Embiid was dealing with plantar fasciitis. I don't know if I said that right. This offseason that hindered him from conditioning, and that's why he's out of shape right now. And I don't get it. Why would you go the entire offseason hyping this whole thing up? Like media day, all this stuff. Why would you lie? Like this was a lie. I'm not saying they lied because nobody said, "Hey, do you have plantar fasciitis?" So I guess it's technically not a lie, but not telling people that there's an issue and acting like this team is perfectly healthy to me is a lie. Because then the first 2 games come out and we're all blown away. Like, what the hell's wrong with Joel Embiid? And then you have to come out and say, oh, yeah, by the way, what? It's like selling someone a car and not telling them the alternator's bad. And then they drive it down the highway and it breaks down. They're like, what the hell? Oh, yeah, by the way, it's got a bad alternator. So, it's not going to really work. Like, I don't know. What do you think about this? Plantar fasciitis thing. And
I mean, I'm just worried if Joel Embiid can even play the way I want him to play. Does he have the body to take hits from screens all game, work in the paint for offensive rebounds? Like, is he built for that, or is he just gonna, get hurt? That's the real question. It's just a shame because you could tell he's just pissed at his body. Like I feel sometimes when he falls, he's just like rubbing his leg. He's like, why me? Why me? Yeah. Like I think that's the biggest what if in NBA history. Like not only Derrick Rose getting injured, but like Joel Embiid, if he like had a body that could sustain like impact when he falls and stuff. Because he's never gotten a healthy postseason.
He's also always been, if you look at photos of him at Kansas, he was 245. And yeah, he was 18 years old. I'm not a professional athlete. I don't look anything close to what I looked like when I was 18 years old. I'm about 40 pounds heavier than I was when I was 18 years old. A lot of it is muscle, by the way. But, yeah, do you think Joel Embiid could get back down to something like that and be healthier? Or, because at 280 for a couple years now, actually, most of his NBA career, he's looked kind of dopic, big and slow, injury prone, falls over all the time. I didn't watch a lot of him at Kansas. I don't think he played a lot, actually, before he hurt his foot. But, so I guess that didn't really help him, actually, because he hurt his foot anyway when he was 245. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Is there anything Joel Embiid can do to not be this hurt all the time player? And it sucks. We think going into this season the one thing we need is a healthy Joel Embiid, and then we find out he was already hurt before the season started. It's just insane.
I guess go down in weight, but I don't. Is it even possible for his body type? I mean, he would go vegan, maybe.
It's
eat plants only. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it would take cardio, which you can't do if you have plantar fasciitis. So that's the
Yeah.
reason he's out of shape in the first place, because he couldn't run, apparently, that we didn't know about. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's depressing to think about. That Joel Embiid's always hurt. We come into this season, all right, he's going to be healthy. We're going to get to the playoffs. He's finally going to be healthy, and he was hurt while we were saying that.
Like, I don't really mind him being not in game shape. I just want him healthy towards the end of the season. So maybe this is like, oh, he'll be peaking towards the end instead of the beginning. Maybe. But that's the thing. Like, he had a good first half, and a lot of Harden's pick and rolls, Harden gets open stuff because Embiid is, he just causes attention. So no one's going to mention that stuff, but it does happen. Like, if you look at Paul Reed's pick and rolls, there was nothing happening in the second quarter just because they don't care about Paul Reed. It's easy to guard when you don't have to worry about the other screener. The small ball lineup was very effective, but it was a lot of James Harden just hitting contested shots. So I think Embiid at least deserves some credit for getting Harden those floaters and things like that. I mean, it hasn't been all bad.
No, you're right.
Just like the third quarter yesterday was horrible, but the first half was really good. And then when he came back in the game, we didn't win, but it's not like we got cooked with him. And he missed there was a shot where they gave it to him, but I liked it, and he made a quick decision, and he pulled up. And whenever he does that little that move that he did to pull up, you know what play I'm talking about?
In the fourth quarter, you're talking about?
Yeah, there was 50 seconds ago, and he pulled up in Brook Lopez's face, and you know how he dribbles, and then he does that that
Shoulder
little move.
shimmy.
Yeah, he always hits that shot. Whenever he does that move. And I was like, all right, I'll take that because he made a quick decision. I hate when he just waits, and then shoots it. Just make a quick move. So I wasn't mad at that shot either. I was like, oh, he always makes that. He literally won us a playoff game in Toronto with the same type of gameplay, game style. So
he hit one.
I'm not tripping.
He hit one yesterday. He hit a step back three at with the shot clock running down, at the top of the key. So, it's one of those things. You don't want your center to be out there trying to be Steph Curry, but when he makes it, you're like, oh, okay, we'll take it. I
mean, in the first half, he was good. He had 15 points. Third quarter was just so bad. Yeah, and I blame Doc Rivers because Joel Embiid couldn't even make it up the court. And Doc was like, he just had 3 turnovers. Let me keep him in the game. What? I don't care if he's your best player. Just take him out. He's freaking on his knees. He just had the surgery you're talking about. Why is Doc trying to kill him?
Rasan. This is Rasan. Rasan says talking about he didn't have a problem with Joel's shot. He blew the game. Rasan, this is because you're saying this because you love James Harden, and I know you. I'm fine with you loving James Harden, but Joel Embiid didn't call the play. There was a timeout, and Doc said, down 2 or down 1, we're going to Joel 1-on-1, and he's going to hit the game-winning shot. And
that wasn't even the play I'm talking about. He passed out of that one. It was a horrible pass.
Yeah, you're right. That was with 10 seconds.
I'm talking about a little before.
Left. Yeah. When
it was literally wide open. And people were complaining on Twitter, dude, he missed the shot. It is what it is. I'll take that every time. And James Harden, you could tell James Harden was tired too. I think that was a lot to do with because there was a moment where Harden was just standing at the top of the key. He was probably gassed out because he carried the team the whole third and fourth quarter.
He definitely carried, man. So, I know we're on Twitter a lot, and I know how Twitter is, man. The sky is falling. But I've been very positive going into this season, and we're 0-2, but I felt good at the fact that my biggest question this offseason was, is James Harden going to be back? Is James Harden going to be in shape? And he looks like he's back. He looks like he is at least at that level that he was at in Brooklyn when he was, second, third, fourth on the MVP list because he was playing without Kyrie and Durant, and he was dropping 40-point triple-doubles. And so, I think he's back to that, and that's a great a great thing for us. Now we just got to figure out, a bunch of other stuff. Something else we gotta figure out. So like D'Anthony Melton and Shake Milton. Should Shake Milton be having no time on the court? Because I think I saw in the preseason, I remember them both getting, 15 minutes off the bench, and they were on the floor together in the preseason, from what I remember, in certain points, certain moments of games. And they're two different style of players, but they're two guards off the bench. I think they should both be used in certain situations. And I think instead of D'Anthony Melton having 20 minutes of his just straight up, shot chucking gameplay, which I don't hate. I love the fact that he just comes off the bench and is a bucket getter. But, Shake Milton's more methodical, more of a pick and roll guy, more strategical, but can control the game a little bit better. I think we should be using both of them.
Yeah, I agree. With our old folks home, in the starting unit, I would even play an all bench squad. I don't have a problem with playing an all bench squad. If it loses us games, it loses us games. It's the regular season. As long as we are in the play-in, I really don't care where we are seeding wise. All I care about is if Embiid's healthy, Harden's healthy, and PJ Tucker's healthy, and Tobias is gone at the trade deadline. Other than that, we're going to win games just because Embiid's going to dominate tomorrow probably because who's going to stop him on the Spurs? Who's going to stop Harden? And then the bench is going to do well because the bench is as good as the Spurs starters.
You know who I'm giving credit to for James Harden? JD Tag, Harden shot more mid-ranges in one game than damn near his whole career in Houston. I'm giving credit to Sam Cassell because I remember just the one video that we saw of them in the summer in practice working on it. Or at the end of last season, I think they were working on it. I don't remember. But I think they were working on it, and I think he's been drilling it into James's head. Like, look, man, you're either a three-point shooter or you're trying to go all the way to the rim. He probably watched a lot of film, and paused the video and said, look how much space you have right here. You know what I mean? You passed out of this right here. Look how much space you have. I know for a fact you can make this shot with your eyes closed. So just shoot the mid-range shot. And I think he's been focusing more on it. And he worked on it all off season. Not that he couldn't ever shoot it before, but worked on, getting it to be a thing in his mind, like an instinctual thing to shoot that. And I think Harden's absolutely lethal if he's triple threat. If he's three, you got to go out there and guard him. He can drive by you. You're guarding the rim now. He's hitting a mid-range shot. How do you stop him? So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot to mention, I would also put some blame on Maxey because, like I said, a lot of times he just doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Like, just take over. No one's going to get mad at you for just taking an ISO.
Yeah.
Like, there was times where he took a bad shot and I was like, okay, I like that. It's cool. I'll live with it.
A young player that just comes to mind in the NBA that always had a green light, I feel like, and never cared about taking too many shots or deferring to someone else is Anthony Simons, I think, in Portland. I remember he dropped like 40 on the Sixers when he was 19. And he's always been like, I'm that guy. I get buckets. It's what I do. If I go 0 for 7, it's what I do.
Thank you for bringing that up because that's a perfect example. The first game for the Blazers, it was a close game. What really won it for them or kept them in it, didn't really win it. Chauncey Billups, you can tell he was like, yo, Anthony Simons, take over because Dame was on the bench. And he was like, dude, just run the show. Like he was telling him and stuff. And he ran the show and it got them the lead. And then Dame came back in and they won the game. But just having that trust in your young guys, I was like, can Doc Rivers, allow Tyrese to run the second unit? Does Joel and James really have to run it? Because it was literally Simons and Jeremy Grant and a bunch of bench guys. And he was just running the show, pick and rolls, ISOs. He was doing really well. And I was like, can Doc do that, please?
Yeah, I think they're going to work on getting him, more involved. I don't know why we would come out in 2 games and it looks like he's not involved at all. It's like, what did you guys do in training camp? What did you guys do all off season? It's weird. You know how good he is. You know what he looked like in the preseason. And yeah, it's the preseason. Everybody looked good in the preseason because nobody's really trying on defense. But You would think to start the season they would have had more of a planned role for Tyrese Maxey, but I hope they get one soon. But yeah, it is partly him too. He has to just be aggressive. There's lots of times so far in these two games where he in the preseason he would have just taken the shot, and now he's like, oh, I got to get it back out here and see where's Harden at, where's Joel at, and he has to find where he fits, man.
Yeah, that's the thing with the whole team. Like even Joel, like just shoot the three. There was one time he had a three and the shot clock was running down and he tried to drive and it was turnover, easy, fast break bucket. If he just shot the three, he misses it, but we get back on defense and we probably stop them because we were stopping them all game. It's like little things like that. Like just, it doesn't matter. Every possession doesn't have to be a good shot. Just get a shot up so we're not, screwed in transition because we got slow poke Tobias. We got slow poke PJ Tucker. We're not a good transition team. Just get a shot out, please. No turnovers.
What Doc first said to him when he was a rookie is going to stay in my mind forever. He did say exactly what you said, the opposite of exactly what you just said, that every shot doesn't have to be a good shot. When he was a rookie, Doc Rivers literally told him every shot has to be a good shot. He didn't say that word for word. He said, I used to say this to Rondo. Every shot you take is a shot that Paul could have, is a shot that Ray could have, is a shot that Kevin could have. Why? He said every shot you take is a shot that James could have, is a shot that. Why would you ever say that to a young scorer like that? How does somebody that's supposed to know basketball for 75 years think that that's what you should say to that player? That's just insane to me. And Doc Rivers is insane. He just is. I told people, man, we had 4 months off. You guys forgot. He's going to remind you real fast. He's insane. He's nuts. He's losing his mind. He needs to retire.